Mr. Ken and friends.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have no idea how good it is to be back here, believe me. Well, that was a great introduction. He just took my whole rap. I'm gonna bear with me. I'm gonna read the introduction to my book. It's the only piece I could really pull out, sort of in a scene like this, and give. But you know, obviously, what came first and what inspired the book in the first place was harmonica music itself. And we've got lots of great players here tonight. And as soon as I read through this brief introduction, we'll get right to the music. So I think we're going to really try to cover some of the scope of the instrument. I have a lot of different styles of music. I have definitely the finest players in the Northwest here tonight, so I'm really excited myself to hear them. But let me just begin here by reading the introduction to this book. Among musical instruments, only the first, the human voice, is more universal than the harmonica. And this is appropriate given that the mouth organ is the most ventriloquial of musical devices. I throw my voice, explains Lonnie Glosson, seller of millions of talking harmonicas. D4 Bailey, harmonica star of the early Grand Ole Opry broadcast, approached his first mouth organ as an impressionist would. Oh, I'd wear it out trying to imitate everything I heard. Hens, foxes, hounds, turkeys, everything around me. Ventriloquists fall short with every performance. The audience never really believes that it's the dummy talking. But good mouth organists pull off this feat regularly. I had a guy give me $400 for my harmonica, James Cotton once confided to Living Blues magazine. I told him, hey man, you can go down to the store and pay $8 and get you one, you know. He said, no, I want this one. There's something special in there that makes it sound like that. Luther Tucker, who played guitar behind blues harmonica genius Little Walter Jacobs, remembers how people would come up and open up his hand to see what he had in there to make that beautiful sound. Devoid of keys, valves, strings, mouthpiece, or any other visible clue to its mysteries, the harmonica confounds the uninitiated. As jug band mouth organist Will Shade explained to Charlie Musselwhite, the harp is a blind man's instrument because you can't see nothing. You can't be everywhere unless you can go everywhere, and the mouth organ's small size and sturdiness has made it the most portable musical device. Less than 200 years after its debut, the harmonica has become transcendent, arguably the most popular instrument in history. It's been to both poles, down the Amazon, and to the summit of Mount Everest. In its most spectacular field trip, it became the first instrument to serenade us from outer space. Thanks to astronaut Wally Schirra, who smuggled a tiny little lady harmonica on the Gemini 6 mission in 1965 and played Jingle Bells just before Christmas. He told me it came off damn good too, he said. But if handiness were the sole criterion used by consumers when deciding which instrument to buy, the landscape would be crowded with jaw harp factories. The harmonica is based on the principle of the free reed, but unlike its cousin, the concertina, it's brought to life not with the mechanical bellows, but by the player's breath. This gives mouth organists several advantages not available to players of other free reed instruments. A full dynamic range, draw and blow notes, and thus the ability to make music and breathe simultaneously. A variety of vibratos and attacks, and the capacity to play notes not built into the instrument. These are crucial differences. The harmonica is an accordion with soul. Of course, it all comes back to whose voice is doing the throwing. The mouth organ is supposedly the only instrument that anyone can play, yet the truth is that the only thing rarer than a person who's never owned a harmonica is a player who's done one justice. There's no clear-cut career path for the professional mouth organist, and the players celebrated in these pages have as much in common with Magellan and Lindbergh as they do with Mozart or Paganini. These are some of the most remarkable musicians in history, and whenever possible I've tried to let them speak for themselves. Talking with so many of my favorite harmonica players was so enjoyable that I put off the actual writing of the book for as long as I could. The harmonica has enjoyed its greatest success in the United States, and the players profiled here, with the exception of Tommy Riley, who's one of our Canadian brothers and too important to ignore, are Americans. Their careers are, however, testaments to both the international scope of the instrument and the cross-cultural wonder that is American music. The most famous player in mouth organ history, Larry Adler, is the son of a Baltimore plumber who spent most of his adult life in England. The most celebrated classical player, Tommy Riley, is a Canadian who mastered the harmonica during a stay in a German prison camp during World War II. The mastermind behind the harmonica ragamuffin vaudeville band, Bora Minovich, a concept that entranced American vaudeville audiences for 2 decades, hailed from Kiev. The first full-time American classical harmonicist, John Sebastian, the father of the John Sebastian you may know from the Love and Spoonful, was an authority on the Italian Renaissance who lived out his last years in a villa in the south of France. The most famous jazz blower, Toots Thielemans, is a Belgian who learned his craft listening to bootleg American records and who now divides his time between Long Island and Brussels. Constantinople is the birthplace of the leader of the most popular harmonica recording group, Jerry Murad, and one of the most prominent classical harmonicists, Chambra Wang, had his first taste of success as the leader of a 300-piece harmonica band in his hometown of Shanghai. For tales of how these players became wedded to their instrument, the tales of how these players became wedded to their instrument are just as roundabout and full of mixed motives as any love story. For Don Less, it was sex, a boyhood crush on a winsome teacher. For Stan Harper and Wayne Rainey, it was a chance encounter on the street. James Cotton fell for the old voice-throwing trick, his mother's chicken imitation. The first harmonicas of Stevie Wonder, Charles Layton, Chambra Wang, and Doc Watson arrived gift-wrapped. Toots Thielemans and Al Fiore were mesmerized by the wiry form of Larry Adler, magnified 100 times up on the screen. For me, it was the roiling 60s, the lure of which caused me to place my 17-year-old self in the middle of an ecstatic crowd on the ballroom floor of Seattle's Eagles Auditorium over on 7th and Union. I saw somebody relate to that then. One night in 1968, as James Cotton rolled by, microphone cord trailing behind him while he stomped his feet and blew into a Marine band cupped in his hands. Even before he'd gone past me, I knew that this was a sound I wanted to learn how to make. I was sold, and from that night on, I've single-mindedly pursued the sound. The result has been more than 20 years of harmonica playing, several boxes filled with tarnished pieces of brass and tin, many valued friendships, and now this book. There were the lessons in Paul Osher's Brooklyn basement, Charles Layton's guided tours of the world of the chromatic harmonica in his art-filled apartment around the corner from Carnegie Hall, the backstage visit with Herman Crook on one of his 3,000-odd Saturday nights on the Grand Ole Opry, Kim Wilson reeling off one 12-bar jewel after another from the stage at Antone's, Chambra Wang trying to explain the intricacies of tongue switching to me while rocketing us down the Long Island Expressway in his car, and a 10-gallon Don Brooks spurring on Waylon Jennings' great band at Max's Kansas City in New York. Howard Levy confounding a crowd of harmonica players jammed into a piano bar at a Detroit Holiday Inn. The solemn lecture I got one afternoon from D. Ford Bailey on the absolute supremacy of the Hohner Marine Band. He was right, too. Walter Horton's crooked finger summoning me to share a stage with him at the fabulous Rainbow in Seattle. If there's a message in this book, it's that there are no limits to our artistic wiliness, even when armed with a tool as seemingly straightforward and uncomplicated as the harmonica. The variations on the sound are infinite, as the stories in these pages make clear. These are the maverick geniuses who shared a love for a unique instrument, blew by its theoretical boundaries, and ensured its future, who threw their voices and made the harmonica sing.